So we're in the garage of our resident expert, Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Jane. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. A little chilly.
Yes, a little fresh.
So I've just won the lottery.
Yep.
I've got loads of money to play with. What do you suggest I buy?
Excellent. You're going to join the Millionaires Club, and that's a club full of Porsches and Ferraris, but you've got to get something a little bit different. And I think today the Porsche we've got, the 959, is really going to cut the mustard down at the golf club. Very limited run, late 80s, over 200 miles an hour, four-wheel drive, a rare beast, and a good-looking car as well, I think.
So who do you know that's bought one of these?
Well, probably more from your sort of background. We've got Daley Thompson, very famous first owner of one of these. And shortly after they were launched in about 87, fetching upwards of $1 million for one of these. Now obviously down to a palatable 100,000.
Oh.
A pickle. If you're a millionaire, I think you can buy anything, but can you buy it well? And I think this is a car for £100,000 that's seriously good value.
This is quite a special car, isn't it?
Very special.
That's what you're saying.
I think obviously the ability to, while you're supping your dry martini, to explain that your Porsche goes over 200 miles an hour, I think that cuts the mustard.
And something that I'm personally quite interested in is boot space, you know, my luggage, my training gear, stuff like that.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of luggage space in the front, not too much. You've got four-wheel drive, so you've got a bit of drive going to the front wheels. In the back though, two little seats, they fold down. You've got a lovely rack there, a couple of squashy sports bags.
Excellent, thanks very much. So can we have a little drive?
Yes, I think we'll pop off there.
R32s, 33s and 34s. Oh, hello, caught me pondering. Now, I've been sent to come and find out about R32s, 33s and 34s, but only one thing springs to mind. So why have they sent me to an airfield in Kemble? Right, well I've caught up with Pete, who's the organiser of today's event. Hello Pete.
Hi Janie.
What's going on today then?
We're all owners of the Nissan Skyline GTR. We're active members of the internet-based UK Skyline GTR forum. Several of us go on individual track days and we thought it'd be fun to arrange a day for Skyline GTRs only. So here we are today.
So how much does it cost these guys to come on today's event?
It's £110 per car, so it's quite a reasonable day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of track days run by other companies on established circuits, upwards of £150, £200.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it's a good day out. There's strict rules as far as overtaking are concerned, and obviously, you know, behaviour on the track being courteous to other drivers.
I saw your marshal, Graham, who looked like he had a bit of a strop on and he was calling somebody in for cutting across a corner or something.
One of them had a slight misdemeanour over there and he's obviously upset by that, so he's pulled him off.
Oh dear. So are there any women drivers? Because I haven't seen any driving their own cars.
I'm afraid there aren't, Janie, no. I guess it's not the car for women, really.
What's going on? So these cars, are they all standard or have they been modified and got different kits
the majority
on?
are modified. I guess there are some standard cars here which standard produce around about 300 brake horsepower. And we've got a range of cars here ranging probably up to about 600 or 700 brake horsepower. So.
Right, gosh, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, one other question, I noticed I think there's a Ferrari coming up here. You've got a Ferrari on this day.
Yes.
So you don't have to own a Nissan.
Well,
I mean, I could bring a Mini or something.
No, you certainly couldn't, Janie.
So although this is a Nissan Skyline track day, we've actually met up with Dave, who's got the Ferrari, but Dave's a little special, aren't you?
Well, they reluctantly let me along because I originally set up the Skyline register in the UK back in 1995 when I first bought a Skyline. In those days there were probably only about 30 or 40 in the country, and having come from a Ferrari I decided it'd be fun to have a club for Skyline, so I started rounding up some owners and it sort of grew from there really. I then moved on to another Skyline, and then sold that about a year and a half ago. Went back to Ferrari for a while, but my intention is to get back into the Skyline again.
So having owned a Ferrari and a Skyline, which do you prefer?
Well, actually, the Skyline's the faster of the two, which surprises a lot of people. It's definitely more powerful. Certainly, you can tune them to much higher outputs. The handling around corners is also better, but Ferrari gives you a different experience. It makes a better noise. It's more glamorous, obviously. It's more of a challenge to drive to some respects as well, because it doesn't have as much electronic gadgetry to help you out. But I like both, and when I can afford to run both, that's what I'll have.
You have one of each?
I'm not willing to give up one or the other now.
Right. So you'll be back next time that this event's on in a Skyline?
Possibly, yeah, I think so. As I said, when I can justify to her indoors having both cars.
I see. It's just the woman that's stopping you.
Well, and actually, she really liked the Skyline as well. But I can't give up having both now, so I'm going to wait until I can afford to run both cars. Then that's what I'll do.
We've just seen you on the track as well. How did you get on?
It's fun. It's a very tight and twisty track. A lot of G-force, so you're being thrown around a lot. The Ferrari is excellent, actually. It's very well balanced around here, but it's not going to be as quick as some of the more tuned Skylines out here. But a lot of fun.
And the guys that are on the track day today, are they sort of regulars? You seem to know some of them quite well.
Yeah, I know some of them very well, back to when I set the club up in '95. And some of the others are recent owners. It's mainly been my friend's website for the club that sort of gathered everyone together.
Right.
And that's why there are a lot of new faces here. Many people I don't know, but it's good to see the club doing so well.
We saw a car just while we were talking before do a little spin over there and hit all the tyres.
Yeah.
But as I was saying before, there's no gravel pits or anything. You do have the first aiders here, but there's relatively little danger.
I don't think it would be difficult to hurt yourself here.
Yeah.
You could scuff the car on the tyres, possibly.
Yeah.
But no major damage, fingers crossed. I don't think that's possible. That's one of the big advantages of airfield days over race circuit days.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, we'll have another look a bit later and see what else there is going on. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Jane.
We've heard all about you, veteran track dayer.
Yes, I've done a few in my time, so
yeah.
Looking forward to this one.
So this is your car?
Yes, it is.
And it's a couple of years old, right?
It's 3 and a bit years old, nearly 4 years old now.
So I was just asking you the difference between this car and the one next door to it, which hopefully we'll have a chat with the guy a bit later. What are the main differences between these two?
The main difference is that that one there is a newer model. It's like 2 years older. It's got a 6-speed gearbox, whereas this only has a 5-speed gearbox, and there are other like minor performance improvements on it. Otherwise, they're fairly similar. They're the same basic car.
Right.
That one's got slightly bigger wheels than this one, standard, and so on and so on.
So the performance perhaps might be a little bit more edgy on the newer one.
It might be. It's a little bit better and yeah, a little bit more fun.
But of course, if you're a really experienced driver like yourself,
yes,
that won't make any difference at all.
No, there's plenty out of this one.
So you've been on a few track days.
Yes, I have.
I'm interested to find out because you've got to pay for the track day, which I understand isn't too bad because
it's not too bad for this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what about insurance?
Insurance is sometimes covered under people's individual policies, but quite a lot of the time you have to take out separate insurance. It's about £100 a day or upwards, really.
And then I'm thinking, I'm hearing all this screeching going on. Tyres.
Tyres.
What happens with that? How many track days can you get out of a 7?
Varies depending on the type of circuits that you drive on, but possibly 4 to 5, maybe more than that. But 4 to 5, as long as you're not too completely out of order with it. Yeah.
But you were saying earlier that although you can get 4 or 5 track days out of your rubber, perhaps your brake pads is a different story.
These cars eat brake pads. I'm lucky to get 2 track days out of a new set of brake pads, right, with just a month or 2 in between. So.
But you still keep coming back.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah, just to keep the skills a bit honed up. And
now that's interesting as well, because a lot of people come to track days just for a bit of a giggle, but it can also improve your skill, can't it, in actually handling skids and all that
if you get the instruction, and if you go and learn how to get some advanced driving skills like first, certainly if you're in a high performance car like these are, it will stand you in good stead, and you'll get more enjoyment out of your track day.
Yeah.
So it's worth going and doing something like that first, your skid pan, or even a bit of racing school.
So what's the chances of us coming out with you a bit later?
I think they're pretty good, actually. I think they're pretty good, Jane. So we'll see if we can organise a little
Trip
bit
round
of
the
fun
track.
for you. Yeah.
Just need a helmet then.
Yep.
You coming, cameraman? Right then, so I found a helmet. Now Tony's going to take me for a spin in his R33. Thank you very much. See you again. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Don't forget to come back. See you after the break. See you in 3. So why would you see two minis herring round an industrial estate? Well, Jeremy Clarkson making his new video, and here he is, round himself. Jeremy, tell us a bit about these mini then and what you're doing with them.
The video is the best 100 cars ever, right, since the dawn of automotive time, because it's 100 years since AC, which is the country's oldest car maker, set up shop. So I thought, good time, sit back and go, right, what have been the best 100 from the last 100 years? And the two minis are like fighting it out for a high up spot.
And you can't tell us which one's the best at the minute, can you?
No, but put it like this, one of them's English and one of them's German.
Ah, clue there.
Yes. No, I mean, the old minis, I can actually, because there's no, we're keeping number one a secret. But the fact is that the new mini's brilliant. For now, it's fantastic. But will it still look good in 40 years' time? That's the question. I mean, this has lasted 40 years.
Pretty amazing.
It's unbelievable that it still works today, 40 years on.
And in terms of getting in one, because I've never actually been in a Mini, and I just presume, because they look little on the outside, that I'll never get in one.
Knees behind your ears, dear, knees behind your ears.
Ooh, enough.
That's the only way of doing it, really. But the people who say to me, how do you get into cars? And I think, well, I can get into anything I want to get into.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to driving along like this, but when you do that in every car, then it's normal. You must have the same thing.
A couple of cars, yeah. For sort of about an hour, I find my knees are aching because I have to sort of, if I want to brake, I've got to dig my leg underneath the steering wheel to get to the brake.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. And some cars as well, I can hear my head rubbing on the roof.
No, you have to get a baby mat. That's what I've found is quite good. A baby changing mat. Put it on the top of your head. It's really comfortable. And bang, and then you don't really feel it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So can I ask you the usual questions you probably get asked all the time? Your favourite car that you've ever driven?
No, you can't ask me that.
Why?
Well, no, my favourite car I've ever driven, well, you can, all right, is a Ferrari 355. But the best car ever in the history of...
You'll see in your video.
You'll see, because it might not be the 355.
So it's not... When you say the best car ever...
Yeah, it's not just me being
necessarily
stupid. It's not just me saying, well, yeah, 355, because when you go around a corner and the back brakes out, it's really easy to catch and you can do power slides. That's all rubbish. It's the best, including everything, styling, looks.
Oh, okay.
Anything without a diesel engine. No, it's a whole package of things, value for money, everything. The effect it had when it came out. I mean, every single thing is taken into account.
Well, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it took quite a while to formulate a list of 100 of them, that's for sure.
And I was watching something you did about speed and all about the endorphins in your brain and what makes someone a speed freak.
Yeah.
And saw the footage of you in the bobsleigh.
Yeah.
And you looked a bit uncomfortable.
That was horrible. That was horrible, but it's by no means, that's just a little amuse-bouche. It's an aperitif for some of the really horrible stuff in that series.
Really?
Yeah, there's some... I went in this fighter jet, the test pilot school, where they teach people how to be test pilots. So they take them out of Top Gun, and so, right, you know nothing. They even take Top Gun instructors, who then come to England to be taught how to really fly by this little bald Welsh bloke called Reese. Hello. Right in the middle of an interview, good one. I'll call you back.
Welcome back. Now, as you can see, tension's really mounting as everyone's testing out their top speed. come along, let's have a look and see. Oh, I've heard all about this car. Guy, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Hello, Janie.
Nice to meet you.
So, this is one of the newer models?
Yeah, this one's the R34. Most of the other cars here are the R33, the previous model.
Right.
I actually have one of the R33, the old models as well.
Oh.
And I've just recently purchased this to upgrade. The other thing that everyone notices, it's got a little computer inside the dash which tells you everything that's going on, which you might want to have a look at later. And it's a bit of a gadget really that all of us people who like Skylines, we like our gadgets. So
Is it a useful gadget or is it a boy's
it's
toy?
partly useful. It has some features on it which are genuinely useful, such as exhaust gas temperature and those sorts of things. So it monitors a lot of bits of the engine you wouldn't normally monitor. And it will actually alert you when you have a problem. And you can actually display it on graphs and all this sort of stuff. But it's a bit like having a PlayStation in the dashboard, really. And in Japan, you can actually watch telly through it and do sat-nav as well.
Really?
And I've got a television thing set up for it, but it only works in Japan, so it's not really much good.
So unless you're over there...
Unless I'm over there, it's no good at all.
Surely you can't drive legally though when you're watching telly?
No, they usually have it set up so that it works off a switch on the handbrake, so you have to be stationary for it to work.
Right.
Primarily, I think, because the Japanese spend so much time sat in traffic that they probably need to have something to do. We're not quite that bad over here. So,
Not yet. Have you ever seen the M25?
I have been on it several times. This car isn't my choice of car for the M25.
No.
It's more-
So you say you've got one of the older cars?
I have one of the old ones, also blue as well.
Oh, you like blue then?
I do like blue cars, yes.
So is the newer one better?
Yes, I was surprised by how much better it was actually. When I bought it, I thought it would be very similar because I knew how much of the mechanics were the same between the two. The engine is essentially unchanged between the two. But the whole driving experience is actually a lot better. The car feels a lot sharper. The wheels and the gearbox make it a lot better. It's a shorter wheelbase, so it's more responsive.
Yeah.
It's set up more to oversteer as well, so the back end goes out a bit quicker than the 33, so it drives a bit more like a rear-wheel drive car than the R33 does. But I mean, on balance, both cars are very, very good cars. Both cars are supercars. You know, this one's just had 5 years more technology put into it because it was produced 5 years later.
And what's the top speed of the car?
It depends how much you've
range
done to the car. There's people here with modifications that have done all sorts of things. There is a car coming along today which has done 211 miles an hour at Bruntingthorpe. It's got massive modifications. I mean, it's known as the Beast, and it is an absolute beast. Most of the cars here will probably do certainly easily 160 miles an hour. This one, with some modifications it's had, would probably do 180.
So you have already modified this?
It has some, but it's going to have a whole lot more put on shortly.
What have you done to it already?
This car I've only had 2 months, so it's only had the bits that the previous owner fitted. So it's got an exhaust system on it, it's got a big downpipes on it, it's got air filters, and it's running a slightly higher boost level. But there are potentially some plans to put quite a lot of different things.
What are your plans, Guy?
We haven't decided yet, to be honest. It's
Sounds a bit top secret to me.
It's not quite. It's just that you can spend an awful lot of money. I mean, there are people who've spent anything up to £50,000 on their cars. There are people not here who have gearboxes that alone have cost £10,000. And you know, there are engine conversions. Take the engine up to 2.8 litres to 3 litres, and they can cost anything up to £12,000–15,000. I mean, it's possible to spend an enormous amount of money. I think the thing is that you have to draw the line where you want to stop spending money.
Are you going to be like getting another mortgage to do that? Your
no
improvements, or are you just going to do little things like?
I'll do a lot in one go, but
maybe change the mats or something.
No, I'll do a lot in one go, but you know, I have the money ready to do it, so it's not so much of a problem.
So you're not going to tell us what you're going to do?
No, because I haven't decided.
Oh right, okay.
But there are people who have had a lot of things done that they'll happily tell you about. Very few Skylines are left standard. A lot of people do basic things like the exhaust and air filter.
Be loud, aren't they?
They are loud, and in fact a lot of the track days now, because there's more and more concern about the noise pollution from the track days, and you get complaints from people who live near airfields and track days and racing circuits. A lot of these circuits are now putting increasingly tight noise restrictions on, and there's a few cars here that actually a lot of racing circuits they won't allow on, which is kind of crazy. But the problem is you have a lot of circuits like this where people have moved in nearby over the years. They never knew it was a racing circuit, they become intolerant to noise, and you know, the regulations are tightening.
So I finally found what I've been looking for, the Beast. And the proud owner of the Beast is Gary. Hello.
How'd you do?
So we've heard all about this. It's a legend in its own lunchtime, this car. And you, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's special then?
Well, basically, it's my development car for GT Art. And what I wanted to do was try out all the different bits and pieces that HKS do for the Nissan Skylines, so that my customers would benefit. So basically what I've done is I've gone the whole hog over a two or 3 year period.
So you mean all the bits that you can buy for a Skyline, you've put all on one car to see if they all work, so you know what your selling's worth?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because in that way you see, I mean, I can give my people value for money.
Yeah, sure. Oh, that's good to know. If I had one of these cars and I was just going to copy you and have my own beast, how much would that cost me?
Well, somewhere, I suppose, you see, the thing is, it's more expensive. The first one's more expensive because it's all development. But parts-wise, you're looking at about 40,000 just on what's in there.
50 grand for the car, 50 grand for the car, more or less?
No, more than that for it.
So 50 or more thousand for the car, and then just another 40 grand for the
75 I buy the car.
Yeah, all right, you can get a flat for that. Well, I think I can safely say that I found what I was looking for here at Kemble. And I think the funniest thing of all is just seeing these Nissan Skylines competing with aircraft for tarmac space. Don't forget, join us next time for more motoring madness.